Now, if I go either here or here to my home folder and I'm in the same place, I will see the default folders that are created for each user. The desktop, downloads, documents, movies, music, pictures are fairly obvious. Sites is a folder in which you can place the files for a website that you can create on your own computer. A public folder is a folder that other people can access because the files in there are not protected by security, because by default anyone can look at the public folder. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about file sharing. What's important is that inside each account's home folder is a library folder which looks very much like the library folder at the root level of the hard disk. And what you have inside the library folder for the account are, for example, preferences, exactly the same type of property lists that you had at the level of the root of the hard disk. You have a set of property lists inside the library folder for each user, and this is how different settings for different users are enabled. Sometimes as you're creating preferences or installing something, you will get a message: do you want to install this for all users on the computer or just for one user? If you want to install it for all users on the computer, it will go into the applications folder up here, and preferences will be up here, and they will apply to all users. But if you are setting preferences for a single user, you will wind up setting the preferences inside the preferences folder of that user's library. And what normally happens is that you have preferences for the entire computer and all of the users on it, and if there is a difference for an individual user, that's where the preferences are taken from. And Mac OS X provides for developers a very sophisticated but simple scheme whereby a developer can write code in the application to get the current preference for that user, whether it comes from that user's preference or from the default computer preference. So these are the basic folders that will be created for each account and for the Mac OS X installation at the root of the hard disk.